This is No Cave by Catherine M. Valente. It was born on the thin, breathless edge of the galaxy where light and warmth are legends told to frighten children. Space is so much quieter out there, safer. There are stretches of dark on the rim where even something as vast and vulnerable as its father and mother could pass unnoticed. Its birth cluster ruptured in the secure shadow of a black dwarf star, dead as any fallen tree in a forest, prickling with radiation instead of mushrooms. This was its first feast. The memory of sunlight a quadrillion years gone, still clinging to the last lump of an iron core, the ghost of a star that once nurtured planets, systems, wonders. This will be its last gift, to become hot, invisible, crackling milk, slurped up by a weak and naked creature. Poor eyeless child, nosing instinctually in the blackness for the first desperate drink of life. It sealed its mouth and did not open it again for centuries. It grew. It learned to hum the long, slow, closed jaw song language of its kind, a collective vibratory echolocation that was also a poem without beginning or end. Its father and mother loved it after a slow, stony fashion, protected it, taught it the meaning of being as it understood such things, gave it a name, Sio. In the hum, it meant the color of unloneliness. The digestive gases in Sio's silicon stomach expanded, propagated, equalized, turning that first exquisite ancient meal into a stable, pressurized atmosphere, flowing throughout its fragile body, enrobing the massive density of its crystalline metallic heart. Outside, the empty fury of space. Inside, a world. And though Sio turned its ponderous head then toward the galactic core, a pulsing source it can sense, can smell, all the way out here, the way flowers turn toward the afternoon sun. It will remember this nameless, dimensionless place forever after. It will remember it the way a little girl with arms and legs remembers the smells and sounds and secret pockets of the neighborhood where she grew up, where she first knew about things, where she first realized there existed things to know about and that knowing was a magic trick she could perform anytime she liked. In its time, Sio will return here or somewhere very like it, seeking another black, dull feasting star to sustain its own young. In the space between, Sio traveled. It accreted, particle by particle, fragment by fragment, dust by dust. A shell to protect its flesh, for it is flesh, pierceable, burnable, tender. The first line Sio added to the hum was this:
How unsorrowed the galaxy is to see me. It hurtles beautiful debris into my skull at the unchanging velocity of love, and gives me the gift of my skin.
Sio retreated comfortably inside its accretion sphere, an interstellar snail, carrying its house on its back down the road of all moons. The road of all moons, the great rhythm of The infinitely repeating journey toward the galactic core and away again, out to the rim, then back to the churning stew of life and energy, then the long sail into emptiness once more. At sublight speed, the road was long, but Sayo did not mind. Not on his first circuit. There was so much to witness, so much to experience. Empires and apocalypses, golden ages and eons of suffering swarming over planets as it passed them by. Wars that consumed systems, pieces that devoured time. Sometimes the soldiers wore masks, sometimes they did not. Sometimes they all bore the same face. Sometimes they were children. Sometimes they used ships. Sometimes they snuffed out their enemies with a thought. All of it interested Sayo, even the things that horrified it. It watched the Sith and the Jedi before they invented those names for themselves, and then it watched them swell and diminish and swell again like tides of light and darkness. It added mornings and jubilations for them to the hum and swept on through the stars. Sayo wept for the dead. Sayo marveled at the living. It was 1 billion years old. It was nothing but a baby. It was so alone. Sayo was still a child when the tenor of the hum changed. A musician would say it shifted into a minor key. A painter would say it turned blue. Neither of those would be true, but neither would be false. It did not matter. Sayo understood immediately. The time of the clue had come. All of Sayo's kind, wherever they floated on the road of all moons, would come to a point in time and space to congregate, to exchange, to mate, to hum, to celebrate, to debate, to exhibit the fruits of their experiences and to part again. In their slow, imperturbable lives, the clues were almost fast, almost bright, holidays, the closest thing they could know to a thrill. Sayo had never experienced one before. The opposite of alone, the opposite of travel, a destination. It had butterflies in its stomach. It would bring them to the clue, and everyone would see that Sayo had grown up, good and strong enough to contain butterflies and keep them happy. It had found them in a ship graveyard, in the Ryloth system. By then, Sayo's aloneness had grown sharper and colder than planetary rings. It yearned, but could not comprehend its own yearning. It yearned for others. By the time Sayo emerged from the background blackness, whatever battle had been so important to those ships had ended. They floated in space, inert, blast scars blistering their hulls, broken guts orbiting breached engine cores, and like carrion birds on a temperate world, the butterflies had come to feast on the dead. Sayo trilled into the hum, too enraptured to form proper phrases. They were so pretty, so full of energy, so delicate and radiant. Their leathery wings, their translucent proboscises, their musical screaming like symphonies of hunger and satiation. Sayo adored them. Sayo wanted nothing more than to be their friend, So Sayo ate them, carefully. And now they were together forever. Now they were born and grew up and had gorgeous butterfly children and suckled at the organs of Sayo for sustenance and aged and died, all in the great world within Sayo. That was what love meant. Love meant togetherness. It meant containing and sustaining another living being. It meant making sure they were unsorrowed for all time. It meant no longer being I, but us. Sayo would bring its butterflies to the clue. They would all bring the worlds they carried to the meeting place. Some of them would have butterflies, like Sayo. Some of them would have three-eyed rays or squid whales or other wilder things. What you could carry, what you could sustain, was the only status among their people. At the clue, they would preen, they would strut, they would show off the life they could nurture. It was their art, an art of centuries and vast interior space. To any other being, the clue would look like nothing more than an asteroid field. 10,000 dead rocks that were in truth 10,000 snails in their stony shells, drifting in nothingness. But any other being could not hear the hum, the great conversation passing from rock to rock, from the creatures within those rocks to their kin.
These are my butterflies.
Sayo hummed with pride.
They are wonderful and unhated of my heart.
The hum snickered and flickered and answered.
Those are my knocks, silly child. They are nothing. You know nothing. Look at the acidic unarch worms inside CY or the star-colored pilot birds in TOX. They evolved on planets. Now they live within the Exogorth. That is accomplishment. Minox evolved from space vermin to become space vermin. Do not speak again. They are beautiful.
Sayo whispered into the hum.
They are uncruel. They can hum a little. I have taught them. They are not like their brethren now.
The hum became a laugh, and when the mating spirals began, no one would come near, for Sayo stank of butterflies and youth. It was as alone as it had always been. It slept. It tried to dream.